2 years. Mind you, that's when the transition from me working with him and touring started. So I finished working on his album, my first tour with Nicki in 2011. But that's kind of how it is. But he really got me into it. So that album is the first album that I really feel like I'm a part of, like, and trusted as a producer, with no live drums on that album. Not one drumstick on that album. I felt like, you know what I'm saying? I created something that could stand up to the level of where music was then, in a pop world, Christian world, whatever it was, whatever the style was. And he helped me in his camp, and his brother BJ and my friend Keys. I mean, so many people kind of like knew I had it, but they helped me do things the right way. Your intro should be 4 bars, or if you have an 8 bar, they taught me form. They taught me how to format a song. They taught me how, you know what I'm saying? Your bridge should always be 8, or if you have a 16 bar bridge, you got to take the lead. I mean, just all those little details of learning how to make a song. You know, my peers, man, and my older brothers have helped me to do that. So that's how I just kept taking everything they taught me. But yeah, I'm going on. But that project was one of the first that I can say, oh yeah, I want to do this. And I just kept trying to get placements, and I got a couple other placements and stuff at the end, but never like a full project until now we get into the more Jonathan McReynolds stuff, where I'm doing like whole projects and whole EPs and things like that. So it started off kind of like here and there, but again, with more trust and more interest, and with me more trying to like evolve my sound, you know, it's starting to pick up now. I'm still very much so though, the up and coming, I still view myself as very much so the up and coming producer, you know, A&R, which that's a new position that I just accepted, which I can't talk too much into detail, but that's coming too. But I'm still kind of at the start of these things. Like I felt like I was at the start of my real drum career 12 or 13 years ago. It's starting all over. So the high highs and the low lows, just as I was with the disappointments as a young drummer. And it's the same thing all over again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. It's I guess the timing of a pandemic to kind of get into the studio versus the road makes a lot of sense for you now, and for probably everyone.
It does, man. It does. And granted, you know, I miss the road. I miss the money. Of course, we all miss waking up in a different country or a different city that's in a different country already. We all miss those things, but I do like being able to be down here and really sharpen up on what's going to provide my family's future and songwriting. And, you know, I really do like having that time to say, okay, I don't have an excuse. I got to be the best down here. I got the time. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I do like having the time here, but I do miss, you know, the normalcy that the road created for me, because now this every day it's not normal.
Yeah, it's not normal. Mm-hmm. I guess you got to keep your head down and get like a routine so that
That's
can
why I said I come here, I try to get here at 9, you know what I'm saying? And try to be back with my girl at 6 or 7. It's you know, it's a lot.
Has that transition been like, I guess, okay for you? Has it been like cool to kind of be like a 9-to-5er after like months on the road?
I like it. Like I said, I like to work because that's just what's in me. But at 10 p.m., where I'm kind of used to like being in the backstage, eating after show food, you know what I'm saying? Having some fun with the guys, maybe like FaceTiming my girl, being like, all right, gotta go. You know, it's different. It's a whole different thing being here and being present every day, which is kind of good too, though, because I'm here for my family. I see my mom every day. You know what I'm saying? I see my dad more. I see my newborn niece, who's 1 now, which if stuff was regular, I wouldn't have probably seen her for 6 months. Who knows? So I am enjoying the perks. I'm enjoying the perks, man. God is still providing. So, but, you know, is it normal for me? No.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess, was balancing like the touring life and the studio life difficult before the pandemic when you were kind of doing both at the same time?
Not really. I just had to plan my time because I'd always have my gear out on the road with me, sometimes 2 computers. And when you have that bus and that hotel room, you know, and I'm going to just say this, people really think when you're touring, it's like a huge party for 24 hours. It's not like that. You know how it is. You're slated for sound check and the show. Those are the only 2 things you have to keep it together enough to be responsible for. The rest of the time is yours. You don't have to drive. You don't have to worry about, you know, anything. Everything is set up for you. So I took that opportunity. I took all that dead time that I had that I would be going to like check out some of the newest restaurants, and I just would, you know, lock in my room. I mean, I had all type of stuff on the road. multiple interfaces, multiple computers. And that's normal. That's normal on the road because a lot of my guys, out there and we working in a room together, everybody is trying to keep that side of them alive while we're giving everything we have on the stage. So that's a different balance because creatively you might you're doing 5 nights, 5 shows a week. So now every night I'm not inspired enough to come and sit down or disciplined enough to come sit down on a long bus ride to do it. So it's really just that time management thing. But I guarantee you, if there are projects that you have to work on that you're getting paid for, you'll make it work. So,
yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, that's really interesting.
If you have something that you have to get done, mind you, I still have many passion projects, many things as a producer that are on my radar that I do for, sometimes a little money, sometimes no money at all, just because I need the reps. But now when you have a project and, the label is on you, you got to do what you got to do. I don't care if you, whatever, taking the computer on stage and bouncing file, whatever it is you got to do, the life we live makes it easy. It makes it easy. Your time is yours. That's why I wouldn't rather really do anything else because I can still conquer all these non on stage things while I'm getting the revenue from being on stage. And it's just a circle. The revenue I get from being on stage, I try to save it and put it back to keep building into this place, and that's right. That's the game.
Yeah, totally. That sounds familiar to me, to be honest. Yeah, I was gonna say it's the only thing about touring is that it's like I guess people don't talk about how exhausting it is.
Yeah,
and how like you're always schlepping things and just like traveling. So like, how do you maintain that energy to do all that stuff at once?
It's really no way. Sometimes at some point, what's in you just has to come out. You might not have the strength or the energy or the mental to really be there, but you have to go into that other place. Or I have to go into that place of me being a kid, wishing and praying I had these opportunities to be on this stage, and you just kind of suck it up. It's too good. It's too good of a life to be like, I mean, I've had some situations. I've been on some buses. I've been in some hotel rooms to where I've slept in the lobby instead of my room. But it's all a part of it. It's all a part of the grind. It's all a part of the story. So yeah, you have no excuse really. Just get your rest. If you can't go to every after party, then you can't go. I mean, and let's get into like the beginning of tour where you happy to see your friends, you want to hang out, but there's new arrangements. The artist coming in every day, changing something, and touring is this thing I call instant impact. You don't get a lot of times to, we're not going to run the same section for you 30 times in a 12-hour rehearsal. You know what I mean? So you got to be on your stuff. You got to study and take all that energy that you could be doing other things to just really get into the music and rest, because anything could pop up. We got a Good Morning America show. We're going to drive right into New York after we do the show in Philly. We're going to be at ABC or NBC or whatever at 5 a.m. and you leave in the venue at 2 a.m. and you got to go. Like all those things have happened, but personality and who you are plays a big part of surviving out there. And if you just do what you have to do, if you know yourself the best, it could be the easiest job in the world. I think we make it hard, but yeah.
Nice. Do you have any other practices to stay like energized? I guess maybe more on the studio side of things. How do you keep yourself motivated to come into the studio and work every day?
Listening to music. And I guess that's been another part that, not being on tour has been helpful for, because the first couple of weeks of a tour, I'm only listening to that music. That is inside of me. I'm bleeding it. By the time it's time to play it, Nicki is all I've listened to sometime for months. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, and then I'm going to go play it for months, but I just make it so it's so in me. So I'm having a good time not having to really learn anybody's music right now. I'm just like a kid in an amusement park. Just my brain is just records. My brain is on shuffle. I went and picked up like 300 records, vinyl yesterday from, a friend of mine's who, they move in. I'm just kind of back in my world, man, and just surrounding myself with every possible thing. So that keeps me motivated, hungry, humble, all of that. Like I was saying, that sample that I found, like I had to go find the original because I just couldn't believe it. Those things keep me, they make me happy, man, to be able to just finally dive into the studying of music again. Because when you're on the road, you can listen, but you can't enjoy because there's another job you have to do. I'm not producer Darryl then. I'm Maxwell's drummer, Camila's drummer, whoever, then I need to serve their need the best. So this time has been amazing for that I can just stretch out, man, and just listen and create and do something totally out of the norm and not have anybody to musically please per se. It's great. It's real cool.
Yeah, wow, I love that.
Yeah.
It's I feel like a lot of people have like had moments during this like, shutdown of just like, okay, introspection and like what's really important to me, what do I really love?
Yeah.
And then the problem is it just keeps going for like 6 months.
Right.
I think 2 months would have been great.
You remember like that screensaver on the old computers when you were playing like the solitary card game and the cards just keep unfolding like that screen? That's how my brain is.
Yeah.
It's just they just keep So
yeah, Windows 95.
Yeah, it's like
I got
it's
you.
like
I got
that.
you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So tell me how you met Jonathan McReynolds, because you've done a lot of work with him and that stuff is phenomenal. I know one of his records was Grammy nominated and
Yeah, thank you. No, he's just from around Chicago, man. I mean, literally growing up in church, you connect with people that you never know, you know what I'm saying? You'll be making, you'll have lifetime relationships with and be making lifetime history with. So our churches just used to fellowship. They have these things in the Kojic church called a convocation, where all the churches just come together and have church all night, every day. So he would be there playing the organ. I would be there playing drums. And, a couple years later, by the time I think I'm 32, John just made 30. So by the time he got to college, he literally just started becoming an artist. My boy Thad, and it's funny you mentioned the bass on that song, Moving On. My boy Thad played bass on that song in one take in the kitchen where I was telling you about earlier. But anyway, so Thad started kind of like playing bass with Jonathan and this group that he had, and Thad kind of invited me along to jam out with them, play some gigs around the city, and it was like, oh, Jonathan, I already know him from back in the day. So we just kept linking like that, kept playing live shows, and then he was like, man, won't you co-produce this next record with me? So I'm like, cool. And that was it. That's just how it started. So we already kind of had a relationship. We were already very familiar, but he just blew up. Like he blew up from his dorm room, literally. And we were just like, wow. So his first couple projects I didn't do. But I started with, I think the project called Life Music. I think, is it Life Music or Life Music 2? And from then on.
Life Music Stage 2, I think.
I started fully producing, the stuff with him at Stage 2. I don't think I did every song, and then we went on to the next one, and it's just been going after that. So he's like one of my, closest collaborators, man, and producers himself. We work, he'll send me a rough format, maybe some chords, maybe not, but he's an amazing writer. He always has what he wants to say. And I just take his skeletons and we just build and go back and forth, and then you get the stuff you're hearing. But it's amazing to work with somebody that can do everything. And at the same time, you have to, because Jonathan plays, he sings, he writes, he produces too. So we produce each other. We produce each other and we make one thing. We produce each other and we make one body.
I love it. Yeah, you were telling me before we started recording the interview about how you guys are always collaborating online and different studios. Like, can you tell the audience a little bit about that, what that's like?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Again, with the whole pandemic going on, we've just been more pressed to be more creative and get on a Zoom. And I could tell you, for me, it was a struggle at first, and I'm still kind of dealing with it because I'm used to the input of the engineer or the homies in the control room saying, "That's dope. Nope, that sucked. Do it again. This that you did, keep that." I'm super humble and super open when it comes to my process. So I always look for extra ears, man. But being down here, the ears are gone. So that's one thing that's hard for me that I do miss. But we got Zoom, and they even have the thing. I forgot the name of the app where you can actually like listen in like to the session, like in the session. So we've just been making things work like that, man. Even though we can't be together, I'll have a writer send me a voice note so I can at least start the idea since she's not here or he's not here. And we just send emails back and forth. Literally, I'm Darryl. We transfer Dropbox Howell. You know what I'm saying? That's how we kind of have to get it. I mean, that's how we've been doing it because I've always been working with people that didn't live here. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not too much of a change for me, but the change has been.
Well, you were on the road, right?
Right. But the change has been from me missing kind of that input of the people. But we making it work. We make